With how well received Into the Spider-Verse was, Across the Spider-Verse had a tough act to follow, but it rose to the challenge, and then some. Into the Spider-Verse was a pleasant surprise in 2018, telling the story of Miles Morales with great creativity, humor, and just the right amount of drama. It was a solid origin story that won the Oscar for Best Animated Picture, and deservingly so. This left audiences with high expectations for the sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, and not only did the sequel meet those expectations, it surpassed them. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous, giving us unique styles for different universes and characters. The shot of Miles and Gwen chatting while hanging upside down above New York City is absolutely breathtaking. There's also the character moments and personal stakes, which manage to build on the solid foundation established in the original film. We learn a lot about Gwen Stacy, aka Gwanda, who could arguably be considered the co-protagonist of this movie. We also establish conflict between Miles and his parents, primarily due to his fear of telling them that he's Spider-Man. It perfectly captures the essence of Spider-Man's double life, and how difficult it is to be a crime fighter and a normal high school student at the same time. And this leads into a cleverly written rule of this multiverse, which is the idea that every spider being has to experience the same general timeline of traumatic losses of loved ones. Every iteration of Spider-Man has a theme of loss, with the most recent cinematic example being No Way Home, where Peter loses Aunt May. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire share their own pain, and imply that Aunt May's death was a parallel of them losing their versions of Uncle Ben. A major plot point of Across the Spider-Verse revolves around the idea that Miles Morales' father is destined to die because of what's called a Canon Event. In other words, a traumatic loss that Spider-Man has to endure in order for that universe to maintain stability. This law is enforced by Miguel O'Hara, who went through his own loss and caused more damage in his universe when trying to stop a canon event from coming to pass. But Miles Morales is an anomaly, as he's the only known spider being to be bitten by a spider outside of his universe. Miguel tries to tell Miles that his life as Spider-Man was a mistake, but Miles gains the confidence to fight back against the status quo and prove that not only does he deserve to be Spider-Man, but he can also save his father from dying. This is a brilliant creative move that raises a lot of interesting questions leading into Beyond the Spider-Verse, the third film which comes out in March of next year. Across the Spider-Verse ends on a big cliffhanger, where Miles is stuck in Earth 42 with an alternate version of himself. Presumably the version of himself who was supposed to get bit by the spider, but he became the Prowler instead. Gwen Stacy recruits a team to help her save him. And Spot, whose goal is to get revenge on Miles for ruining his life, is more powerful than ever. Miles sees a vision of Spot killing his father, and his goal is to save him without harming the balance of this universe. What's interesting about this is the idea that Miles is an anomaly. This raises the possibility that canon events might not apply to him, although he did lose his Uncle Aaron, so maybe that was his canon event. Between the comics and the video game, there's a version of both Rio Morales and Jefferson Davis who have died, so it's reasonable to assume that both of them are in danger leading into Beyond the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse makes it seem like Jefferson is likely the one to die, but Rio could be in just as much danger, especially given Spot's desire to take everything away from Miles. What's great about Miles being an anomaly is that it creates a sense of unpredictability about what will happen. Beyond the Spider-Verse doesn't have to follow the same tropes of all the comics, because Across the Spider-Verse established that Miles is trying to break away from that. The cliffhanger has Miles trapped by Earth 42's versions of Miles and Uncle Aaron, but neither one of them have superpowers, and it looks like Miles should be able to use his electric powers to free himself. The question is how Earth 42's Miles and Aaron will play into the story of Beyond the Spider-Verse. I have to imagine we'll get some backstory on this version of Miles and the universe, and get a better look at the moment where he should have been bitten but wasn't. I think the third Spider-Verse movie will involve themes of creating your own destiny, which Across the Spider-Verse already touched on. Characters like Gwen and Peter B. Parker already seem resigned to the idea that their loved ones have to die, and that there's nothing they can do about it. Miles, however, refuses to believe that his becoming Spider-Man was a mistake, and refuses to believe that his father has to die. This is likely going to be his main motivation moving into the third movie. But one thing this series also doesn't do is shy away from harsh realities. The life of Spider-Man lends itself to loss and sacrifice, and I can see Miles having to make a difficult decision in the end. He can save his father, but he might lose someone else close to him like his mother or Gwen. Maybe we even get something like in No Way Home, where Peter sacrifices his entire existence in order to save everyone else he loves. While SpiderVerse probably won't do exactly what No Way Home did, there might be some kind of scenario where, for example, Miles considers being the Spider-Man of Earth 42 to make up for the damage that's happened there. Or maybe there's some other big sacrifice he has to make in order to save his parents. There's also Gwen and Captain Stacy to consider. Captain Stacy quits his job, which sort of plays into the idea of changing or creating destiny that could have been fulfilled. It'll be interesting to see where their relationship goes in the third movie. What did you think of Across the Spider-Verse, and what are your predictions for the next movie? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, it really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good one.